Today, we're going to dive into the absolutely luminous world of Persian miniature painting. We're here to unravel a beautiful mystery. Not a mystery in the paintings, but the mystery of the paintings themselves.
So if you've ever looked at a Persian miniature, you might have felt a little thrown off. I mean, we live in a world that's just saturated with selfies and super high-res photos, so these serene, stylized faces can feel, well, a little strange. It's totally natural to ask, why don't they look more realistic? And you know what? That very question is the key to understanding this entire artistic tradition.
What we're really looking at here is a huge difference in philosophy. On one hand, you've got a tradition that's all about photographic realism. Copying the world exactly as our eyes see it. But on the other hand, the tradition we're exploring today is all about symbolic representation. It's trying to reveal a truth that lies way deeper than just what things look like on the surface.
Okay, so let's jump into our first section and start unraveling this visual puzzle. We're about to explore an art form that feels different for very good reason. Its entire purpose is different.
Right. And this is the most important thing to get. The artists who created these masterpieces, they absolutely could have painted more realistically if they'd wanted to. The fact that they didn't isn't because they lacked skill. Nope. It was a deliberate, it was a meaningful, and it was a deeply theological choice.
So, to really understand that choice, we first need to get clear on what these paintings actually are. Let's take a look inside the world they came from, the royal workshops, also known as the Kitabkhane.
Okay, this is crucial. You have to understand that these miniatures are, first and foremost, art that serves a text. They were never meant to be standalone pieces hanging on a gallery wall. They are manuscript illustrations, designed to bring to life the stories in epic poems like Ferdowsi's Shahnameh or the spiritual verses of mystics like Rumi.
And this tradition has such a long and rich history. As you can see here, it really got started way back in the 13th century during the Ilkhanid period. It was refined through the Timurid era, and then it reached its absolute peak during the Safavid dynasty in the 16th and 17th centuries, thanks to legendary masters like Behzad and Riza Abbasi. This slide really breaks down that unique visual language. Just look at those brilliant jewel-like colors. They were often made from ground-up minerals and even gold leaf. And see how the perspective is flattened? It's creating more of a spiritual space rather than a realistic 3D one. Then you have the intricate decorative borders framing the scene, and inside, those elegant elongated figures. It's a totally different way of building a world on a page.
All right, now we're getting to the heart of it. We've seen what they look like, but this section is all about why they look that way. We're about to uncover the fundamental goal of this art.
And this right here, this sums up the entire philosophy perfectly. Western art, especially from the Renaissance on, became obsessed with copying things, faithfully capturing what the physical eye sees. But Persian art, it's starting from a completely different place. It's asking, what essential truth can we reveal? What does the soul know that goes beyond physical sight?
This table just makes the contrast crystal clear. Look at the difference in the main goal. One wants to mimic reality, the other wants to reveal a deeper truth. That single difference just cascades down and affects every other choice, how space is shown, what the faces are meant to mean, and even the role of all that beautiful ornamentation, which, by the way, isn't just decoration, it's a primary carrier of meaning.
So those faces that don't look like specific people, they're archetypes. The artist isn't trying to paint a portrait of some specific king. He's trying to capture the very essence of just rulership. He's not painting a particular lover. He's visualizing that universal human feeling of love-longing. The goal was never a portrait. It was a window into a universal state of being.
This brings us to a really fascinating idea, one that's deeply influenced by Sufism, which is the mystical side of Islam. The idea is that this art isn't just symbolic. It's designed to be a kind of spiritual technology.
The Sufis really understood this. Beauty isn't just there to be pretty. It has a job to do. When you are truly captivated by something beautiful, that chattering, analytical part of your brain, your discursive mind, it goes quiet. And in that quiet, a deeper, more direct kind of knowing can bubble up.
And this is where that spiritual technology really comes into play. If you look closely at the intricate borders and the tile work in these paintings, those endlessly spiraling vines and geometric patterns are not just pretty decoration. They are designed as infinite patterns. They could theoretically go on forever, visually reminding the viewer that all of this material reality we see comes from and returns to an infinite divine source. In fact, You can think of it as a kind of visual meditation. It's almost like a set of instructions. As you gaze at the pattern, your scattered attention starts to gather and focus. Your breathing might even slow down. And after a while, that rigid boundary between you, the observer, and the art you're looking at, it can start to soften. It's a technology for shifting your consciousness.
So you see, this isn't just some historical curiosity. It's a living tradition of seeing the world. And I want to give you a few starting points so you can do your own exploration.
Honestly, the best way to appreciate this art is just to see it for yourself, and thankfully, so many of these amazing collections are digitized online. I'd recommend starting with the incredible resources at the Met in New York, the Smithsonian's Freer and Sackler Galleries, or the British Museum. And if you want to see the major international collections, the Museums of Islamic Art in Doha and Istanbul are just unparalleled. And if you want to really understand the philosophy behind the art, these scholars are essential. Said Hossein Nasr is amazing at connecting art directly to spirituality. William Chittick unpacks the deep symbolism in Rumi's poetry, which is what these paintings often illustrate. Anna Marie Schimmel explores the mystical dimensions of Islam, and Jawid Mojeddedi provides these brilliant, accessible translations of Rumi's major work, the Masnavi.
So, let's end with this one provocative idea. Persian miniature painting teaches us that art can be so much more than just a picture. It can actually be a tool for changing our perception. And that leaves us with a really fascinating question. If that's true, what other tools for seeing the world differently have we simply overlooked?